I know what you play with me.
What? Was everybody coming together and saying, oh, we're going to watch a freak show. This is what this is. We know what this is. It is absolutely mental. But we're going to watch here.
Because he views Jake Paul as a decent boxer. This is not the first time that someone has come out and said this. We've heard Terrence Bud Crawford come out and say that because of the size difference, Tank won't be able to hurt Jake Paul, and that Jake Paul could probably knock him out with one punch.
Floyd Mayweather reportedly stormed the stage during the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis press conference, directly warning Jake in front of the crowd. The scene quickly turned heated as both camps exchanged sharp words and tense stares. The outburst showed just how personal and serious things have become between the two sides as they build toward one of the most talked about fights of the year.
Honestly, yeah, I'm gonna knock him out. You know, he has a lot of flaws in his defense, and I'm gonna expose him. You know, look what a 135 Lamont Roach did to him, and it's just gonna be so much fun for me. I'm so glad that God gave me this moment. I'm Gervonta Tank Davis.
Many critics have dismissed the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis matchup as unnecessary, calling it more spectacle than sport. But not everyone agrees. Ariel Helwani offered a different take, pointing out that MMA fans often praise these kinds of crossover fights, finding them entertaining and bold. Yet when boxing does the same, audiences suddenly act disapproving. Helwani argued that this shows a clear double standard between the two combat sports. To him, the fight may not follow boxing tradition, but it still carries strong entertainment value and massive fan appeal.
Generally, I'm sure it'll be a little bit closer, maybe 200 to 150. Like, how much bigger can Tank get? Why would that be somewhat celebrated in MMA, but in boxing it isn't? Do you know what I mean, Pizzi? In MMA, like, we sort of love the freak shows, but in boxing they don't. Why do you think that is? What does that say about us in MMA?
Well, we're a sick bunch of fucks. There's no doubt about that. But I will say,
you agree, right, or no?
Yeah. Like, the idea of the MMA freak show is everybody coming together and saying, oh, we're going to watch a freak show. This is what this is. We know what this is. It is absolutely mental. But we're going to watch here. I think where people get annoyed with Jake is, like, you know, he even got me. You know what I mean? This guy is the greatest outrage farmer of all time. I saw his tweet and I was like, reading it, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, this is exactly what he fucking wants me to do. You know, like, this is, every time I'm doing this, he's in the game of getting eyeballs, and this is ridiculous. As long as, like, you know, why do I like an MMA freak show? Why would I watch Eddie Hall in an MMA fight against Dylan Dennis? I'll be like, this is fucking ridiculous, and I have to watch it. That's the way I feel about Jake Paul and Davis. I will watch it. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's all of us getting together to go to the circus for the evening. I think the reason why there's pushback against it when Jake does it is because Jake, and obviously tactfully, is going like, what are you talking about? This guy's a world champion. I took out Mike Tyson. He's a world champion. And then I'm going to take out Canelo and stuff like this. Like, he's winding us up. He's not agreeing to the stipulation that we're all agreeing on, which is, this is a freak show. This is absolutely mental. As long as we can agree with that, we can all enjoy it collectively.
But do you not?
Floyd Mayweather also spoke about the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight, saying that while the Paul brothers are doing things most people don't understand, they should be allowed to do as they wish. However, he added that Jake's skills haven't been truly tested yet. According to Mayweather, Jake has never faced a fighter with real professional experience or elite ability, someone who truly represents what it means to be a real boxer inside the ring.
But like I said before, they know what they're doing. Both brothers. Logan as well as Jake, they know what they're doing, so they're doing.
The upcoming fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul has divided both fans and analysts. To many, it feels misplaced, a contest that doesn't align with the spirit of professional boxing. Longtime Davis supporters who have followed his rise from the start see this as a step backward for a champion known for explosive knockouts and serious focus. The issue isn't only Jake Paul's YouTube past, but the idea that Davis, a proven champion, would even take part in such an unconventional matchup.
I believe people think that Tank ain't gonna knock out Jake Paul. Like, bruh, I'm gonna tell you exactly how it's gonna go. Jake Paul will go in that ring thinking he has the upper hand, he has the reach, he has the weight, And he go in there confident. Yeah, he might stun Tank a little bit, but I'm going to tell you, he go underestimate Tank. That's exactly what's about to happen. He's going to underestimate him and his size, and he going to get crushed. I think this right here is what's going to end Jake Paul's boxing career. I think that Jake Paul, when you sit here and think about it, the people he fought, I'm not saying they wasn't real fighters, but they just not no Tank Davis. Buddy, I'm telling you, I don't think this is scripted. I think, yes, this is for money, but I think it's like, hey, at your own cost, go in that ring. Y'all know the weight difference. What's going to happen is what's going to happen at the end of the day. I think Tank really drop him. He ain't going to understand. Jake Paul ain't understand how, but he's about to see it. And on some real stuff, I think Tank setting Jake Paul up. I remember when Jake Paul went up against Tyson, he said, you need to fight me. Like, I want to get in the ring with Jake Paul. He disrespected the boxing world by getting in the ring with Tyson and embarrassing him. And, you know, Tank really messed with Tyson. I think he set him up, bro. Mark my words. I think he like, yeah, come in the ring, boy. We're going to do a friendly, you know what I'm saying? You know, a match or whatever. We're going to get this money. He about to embarrass him November 14th. Just because Jake Paul think the boxing world's sweet. He think it's sweet. He think they about to keep taking it easy on him with these fights. All right, I bet you. How much I want to bet? Tank is setting him up. He's finna literally do him so bad. Just to make an example.
The fight has also created strange moments that make it hard for fans to take seriously. One example involves Shakur Stevenson, who recently faced backlash after reports claimed he sparred with Jake Paul. Many fans accused him of supporting an event they already disliked. Shakur brushed off the criticism, saying he uses the hate as motivation. His calm reaction showed maturity, but it also proved how polarizing this fight has become. Even unrelated boxers are being pulled into the drama, as online debates focus more on controversy and social media buzz than the actual boxing.
When Turkey was doing all that, like, I don't want no boring Tom and Jerry fights, he came out with a Tom and Jerry hat. And then he fought in a style that is not sustainable for him. And it's not, again, for me, it's not sustainable because fighting like that, if you do that with the wrong one, you'll lose. If you fight how you fight, okay, it's going to be harder to win. But you're putting your own self on the chopping block, trying to appease the crowd or not be Tom and Jerry. It's not sustainable. And even in the Zepeda fight, he got rocked back with a jab and fell into the ropes like that. So you could say I wasn't hurt and all that, but it's still a bad look. It's a bad look. People always talk about Tank, the knee, hair grease thing, but what about Shakur getting rocked into the ropes from a Zepeda jab? Even if you were off balance, you're supposed to be light years ahead of Zepeda skillfully. So to me, that still looks really bad. Like, I've watched 50 fights from Floyd Mayweather, and he's fighting way better than Zepeda level. And Canelo and these guys, they're not punching him into the ropes and he's staggering back. The optics of it look bad. So back to it, Shakur, I feel like he's trying so hard to look unbothered, but he always replies to it so you could tell he's bothered. He's like, man, I got him so mad at me. And I personally, I don't prefer that when people do that. Like, for example, Shakur's like, man, I got him tuned in and thanks for the support. Bro, they're not really supporting you. They're all the comments underneath you saying whatever you said about, I get to pick Jake Paul's brain and work with him and all that. Most of them were negative. So you're trying to, like, it's so weird because it reminds me of when I've seen people like celebrities or whatever who
other fighters like Devin Haney and Terrence Crawford have weighed in too. Both believe that while Gervonta Davis is extremely skilled, fighting someone like Jake Paul brings unnecessary risk due to the size gap. Jake is naturally bigger and stronger, which could make things dangerous despite the technical difference. Haney and Crawford said that fights like this blur the line between sport and entertainment. Their comments reflect what many traditional fans believe, that boxing should stay about competition and greatness, not business and viral attention.
Because he views Jake Paul as a decent boxer. This is not the first time that someone has come out and said this. We've heard Terrence Bud Crawford come out and say that because of the size difference, Tank won't be able to hurt Jake Paul, and that Jake Paul could probably knock him out with one punch. We've seen Shakur Stevenson's words say that this is a clown show, that this is a disgrace to boxing, that it's something that he doesn't want to be a part of, but then do everything he can to be a part of it by turning from 2-division, 3-division world champion, former unified champion, and turning himself from that into a damn sparring partner for Jake Paul. So people's words, people's actions are showing that they really, really deep down like this fight. And now you can add Devin the Dream Haney to the list of fighters. And I just find it funny because here's the thing. I disagree with him. I am only interested in this fight because number one, I'm a diehard Gervonta Tank Davis fan. And number two, I don't really like Jake Paul at all. So I would like to see Tank Davis knock his block off. But as far as a competitive standpoint, as far as thinking it's a good fight, as far as loving the fight, nah, bro, I think it's a trash ass fight. I think Tank Davis is way too good, way too skilled, way too talented to even allow Jake Paul to share the ring with him. That is my opinion. And so as a result, my pick of the fight or my overview and analysis of the fight is the same. If it's a real fight, if this is something that Tank Davis is taking serious, Jake Paul is going to get in that bitch and...
Former world champion Keith Thurman offered a more neutral take. He said that the same fans criticizing Gervonta Davis are often the first to watch his fights. According to Thurman, people love to complain but can't look away because Davis always brings action. He added that the controversy actually keeps Tank in the spotlight, proving his star power. Whether fans love or hate the matchup, they'll still tune in. To Thurman, that's a sign of how strong Davis's brand has become. His critics are part of what makes his events successful.
Tank, first off, don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're a boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, you know? If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're gonna want to tune in to the Tank and Paul show there, you know, because that's all for entertainment. What does it say? For entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion. For entertainment, don't do this at home, kids. You know, sometimes
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. For entertainment purposes only, you know? So, you know, it's money-making purposes only, you know?
Throughout his career, Gervonta Davis has spoken about his respect for boxing's traditions and his desire to build a lasting legacy. He's faced tough opponents and earned his reputation through skill and perseverance. That's why some fans feel confused about his decision to fight Jake Paul, someone better known for fame than technical ability. To them, the matchup doesn't reflect Davis's true talent or goals. But Davis hasn't seemed bothered by the backlash. He appears focused on his own path, suggesting that this fight might be more about opportunity and business than legacy.
Problem with boxing, Tank Davis is. Jake Paul's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's a Disney Channel kid, YouTube star turned boxer. Of course, he's gonna make these stupid spectacle matchups. He doesn't care about his career, his legacy, or the sport. Meanwhile, we have Tank Davis, the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather and Adrian Broner, who has real talent. And if he was actually consistent in the ring and was willing to get in with some of the best fighters in the world, he could be top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the sport. But instead, Tank just wants to hold up his division for 5 years and make a mockery of the sport, especially with this fight. I know Tank Davis multiple times has said he only cares about the money and just wants to make $100 million and go retire off an island somewhere, but that's bad for the sport, especially coming from one of our sport's biggest superstars. Look at guys like Naoya Inoue, Alexander Usyk, Terrence Crawford. Those guys are real fighters, okay? They challenge themselves against the best fighters in the world. And money comes their way too from it. Don't get it twisted. What's crazy is Tank would make just as much money if he fought Shakur, Devin Haney, even Teofimo Lopez. The biggest tragedy of all is the fact that Lamont Roach isn't getting his rematch. He got robbed in that fight with a knockdown, he definitely would have won the split decision and he would have got his Buster Douglas moment, but he didn't. And now he can't even get a rematch because Tank is going to do this. And now Lamont Roach has to fight Pitbull Cruz instead. I used to be such a big Tank Davis fan, but over the last year and a half that I've had this channel, the amount of BS that I've had to report on Tank Davis just like this completely turned me off as a fan of Tank Davis. Jake Paul can do his thing with the influencers, with the MMA fighters, but with
Many analysts describe the Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul fight as something that doesn't fit boxing's usual mold. It feels like a mix between sport and showmanship, designed to attract mainstream attention. These kinds of crossover bouts are becoming more common, blending competition with entertainment. While some fans enjoy the spectacle, others fear it hurts boxing's integrity. What makes this one stand out is that both men are still active and in their prime. Unlike most exhibition fights, which usually feature retired legends or celebrities stepping into the ring for fun.
But other than the size mismatch, most people are wondering why has Tank taken this fight, and those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser, because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career. And for most Gervonta Davis supporters, they thought they would get the big fights next, the Shakurs. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather, but the difference is with his mentor Floyd, he really did fight a lot of champs in their prime. Has Tank? Well, not really. The most notable fight he's recently had that the people actually wanted was the Ryan Garcia fight, and the only reason he took that fight was because everything was on his terms. And other than the Ryan fight over the last couple years, it's either been people who aren't in his weight division, which he's pulling up, or fighters ranked in the lower half of the top 10 lightweight list. The fights people have truly wanted to see just have never materialized, and simply that's why people criticize him. If the likes of Crawford never fought Spence or Usyk never fought Fury or Joshua, they would have caught the same level of flack. The reason why fighters like them are applauded is because generally they take on whatever challenge is in front of them. Tank instead, his whole career has bobbed and weaved around the most significant challenges that the people actually want to see, unless he has